Hello everyone, this is the video for the latest updates for dungeons. So over the last month I put a lot of work into kind of sprucing up the dungeons and just making everything look nice. So for this update we've got a lot of changes to the dungeons themselves. We've got like this outer wall that's much higher now and doesn't scale or change size when you modify your dungeon walls. I've tweaked a lot of the materials to make them look way better than what they used to. A lot less stretching going on and better tiling going on now. We got a lot of different materials that can be selected when it randomly generates. We've got a lot of extra features, or not really features, but logic checking to make sure the server doesn't get something different in the generation versus what the player, so the server makes sure it sends over to the player before the player begins to randomize and make his own version. Normally this wall would be sealed, so you would activate a geo like so, portal would pop up, you could then run inside there and it would teleport you into this spot here, so you'd be right inside. This would be solidly closed. You talk to your dungeon master here and you would just go ahead and throw in a key. So for this first one I'll just kind of show you the modifiers. We got extra life, 3 respawns, so anytime I die I will respawn right back right here, and this works for all players inside your dungeon or wherever this buff is. So even if I make a server-wide event and I add extra life times 1,000,000, every time you die you're just going to respawn at the nearest respawn point. Obviously that's not very helpful in the main world map, but it could be pretty useful in like the spirit realm. If I made a closer respawn point to dock or something and that event's happening, then easy way to get to dock quickly is just to get yourself killed and respawn right over there by him. Or you're inside your dungeon and you got your respawns. So pretty useful there. Now there's also the Fountain of Youth modification item. So that is this one, right? I'm sorry, it's right here. So we've got our extra life, right? +1, tier 2 item, +2, tier 3 item, +3. And then you've got your botched Fountain of Youth. You can read that flavor text there if you want to pause the video. Essentially that will resurrect you on the spot. You won't even die, it'll just back to full health immediately. And again, that also works for all party members inside your dungeon. So that one's very useful if you're fighting the vagabond or the sentinel. You don't want to die, right? Because you'll get kicked out of your dungeon. That'll just set you back to full health, so you just keep nailing away on that sentinel or the vagabond. Also useful if you've got friends with you inside the dungeon and they get killed, then now they can just keep fighting. So let's go ahead and see. Alright, and the lower walls. So in a small dungeon the walls are size 6, medium size 7, a large map is size 8 walls, and the extra large map, which is what this is size 9 walls. So whenever you use a wall modifier, as you see here, you'll minus from that number and make your walls smaller. So if these are size 9 walls in here, I'm going to minus 5 from that. I'll have size 4 walls. So let's go ahead and see this in action. And there you go. The walls have immediately been lowered to a point where you can easily see over them. Right? No problems. And you can notice the new buff icons that are up here now. We have our extra life buff, and there's 3 of them. The Fountain of Youth doesn't have a solid number. It'll choose between 4 and 9. So you might get a good roll, you might get a bad roll. I got a very good roll. I got the max amount you can currently get for this. And then we got, of course, our lower maze walls, level 5. Reduces the height by 5. So as you can see, you could easily get around inside here. Now if you're doing a looter, a skiller, whatever you're doing, you can really tweak the dungeon to your own needs, which is going to be really useful. Maybe you're doing a skiller, right? You're going to want at least 3 resurrections, so you'd use a modifier slot for that. I don't know if you would waste a Fountain of Youth on it. You could, but that's going to be more useful if you're doing a deep looter or doing it with friends, you know, because it's a rare item. So it's going to be nice to have an instant resurrection if you're all fighting a boss or the vagabond. And of course the walls are just nice to have regardless. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but we do have the random music that plays in the background now, and it has I think a good 9 different songs or music files it can play. 2 of them are my favorite, and they are from Lab 1 and Lab 2, so I've added them to the list. They're a real retro arcade type of music, which I don't know, I'm a big fan of that type. So there you have it. You've got the lower wall mod, you've got the resurrect, or the Fountain of Youth mod, and the extra life mod. So let's find, so if you have both extra life and Fountain of Youth, it'll always use the Fountain of Youth first, then it'll use the extra life. So, oh, here we go. Here's a vagabond. Perfect. Let's just let this guy take me out real quick. Ignore the naked character. Oh, no, 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 don't kill him. Oh, no. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but I actually did die because of splash damage. I'm not sure why that says 4. That should be an 8. I will look into that. But as you can see, it didn't take away a point from this one. It took away a point from the Fountain of Youth, so that works as intended. So now let's go ahead and do another. Now let's look at the other modification items. Oh, here we go. Here's, I think, Lab 1 music. So in this one, we've got extra gold 100%, which is a really rare modifier, right? You'll find the 5s, 10, 15, 20, and even 25 way before you find a 50% or a 100%. Those are mostly going to be rewarded from special events, or maybe like special spawned monsters will have a higher chance to drop them. But Sentinels will not be dropping a 50% or a 100%, at least for now. We also got lower walls of 2 4s, so that's a total of 8 points. So we're going to have super low walls in here. And there you go. Not entirely sure why he's not moving around. Oh, there he goes. He actually did not drop a modifier, so there's something else I'm going to have to look into. Alright, let's take another look. I want that other, I'd like that other lab music to play. Lab 2. Come on. There's only 3 songs in the list currently that I've tweaked it to. No way. I don't understand where's the randomness? There was no randomness there. I don't want to hear that one. Alright. Nope, that was the one we just heard. There we go. Oh wow. Technical difficulties because there's empty spots. It chose an empty spot and played nothing. There we go. There's the other lab 2 music. Alright, so we've got a larger rooms, 2 larger rooms and a no collision walls. So the walls will remain the same tallness, right? Can't really see over them, which is good for a deep dungeon unless you're using the modification items, but you can just run straight through them. And you can see we have way bigger rooms now because I used a level 10 maze room buff modifier item. So you can see how this could be quite useful if doing a skiller, just anything really. It's just an all-around nice modification to have. This one mixed with lower walls would be nice as well. But the no collision walls is a more rare item versus, the lower wall item, but not as rare as no walls item. I need to speed up that projectile. Eventually I'll add it where it homes in on them, but for now, it's on the to-do list. I guess I'll switch to that one. I'm killing them too fast because of the silver dust. Alright, so that pretty much does it. The only one left at this point would be the no walls mod, and I mean that's not exactly hard to understand. So we got lower walls 99, that's the no walls, and 40% extra enemy spawn rate. Not really spawn rate, but 40% extra mobs will spawn. Normally, of course, there would be a lot more in here. I'm using my admin rights to ignore the limiter, so I could use any key in any dungeon. As you can see, nice and open. Pretty much anything you need to do. So just one of those, even though it's a really rare item, very low chance to drop. It's better than the no walls, it's better than the lower room, or it's better than the lower walls and the larger rooms. So you could use just one of those and still have 2 slots open for your modifiers. So now let's take a look here, right? So whenever you want to make your key, you literally just drag and drop it, right? Currently there is no work value additional required, you just choose your meat, choose your bead combination, whatever you want. See what level they'll turn out, how many mobs will be in the dungeon, and then just kind of do the math yourself and think, okay, well, if there's 185 guys in there, I'm gonna have 20% more, 40% more, total 60% more. So whatever 60% more of 185 is, that's how many more you'll have in your dungeon. And then just craft away. So let's actually see this. I should be able to create that. Might take a couple tries, but let's see. Oh, there we go. Alright, let's fire off that one and see what it looks like. I should have put a no walls in there. It's still spawning them. Uh-oh. Well, I'm screwed. Never had a chance. That's okay. So that's pretty much it. That covers the dungeon update. A lot of little things done here. A lot of new modification items still to add in the future. But for now, it's a good baseline, and I can just kind of move forward from there. So the next big thing I'm going to be working on is the main world map, and just getting some form of progression going, so that there's level 1 through 9 guys in this area, level 10 through 15 in this area. I'm gonna find a really smart way to tweak it and make it a lot easier than duplicating AI and tweaking their settings manually. I'm just gonna make it more generated, I guess you could call it. So it'll spawn the mobs and whatever their levels or their defaults are, but then tweak their defaults for a zone, So hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.